Welcome to the Conversation Podcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your guy, Darnell Tate. I have a special guest here who is not a stranger to the Conversation Podcast. Matter of fact, she is one of our co-founders of Rare Image, LLC. It's definitely a treat to have her here. We are continuing the conversation about New Year, New Me. If you remember the conversation on I'm thinking about something else. On last week with Pastor Albert Simmons, my bishop. Amen. I said, amen, like I'm in church.
Come on, pull it back.
Yeah. The conversation on last week with Pastor Albert Simmons talking about steps and stages to make to start your new life and start your year off right. So we will continue that conversation. And I brought tonight with my churchy self, the Right Reverend, Dr. Prophetess, the psalmist, the ark singer.
Somebody help.
Cheryl Carter, come on, put your emojis together and offer us a hand on today. I am super excited. What's up with you?
What up? Oh, man, not much. I'm here. I'm excited to be here. I haven't been on in a while.
It's been a good minute.
It has. It has been a good minute, and I'm excited about what's about to happen.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm excited about what you're going to say on tonight.
Ain't that something?
So what's been going on in your world?
What's been going on in my world?
You had to take a breath with that, right?
There has been a lot going on in this lady's world, but most of all, I could say I have kids going off to college, actually two. Asher is continually doing his sports and working in ministry and working. That's about it. Yeah.
Working. A lot of things been going on.
It's a lot.
Sound like a busy schedule.
Absolutely.
So last year, we all had some changes last year.
Yeah.
Some craziness that took place. Bishop on last week laid the foundation for the rest of this month conversation. And believe it or not, I think like if we could take tidbits of last week conversation, I think it can really just cover this entire month.
Okay.
And one of the things that he said on last week that really stuck with me is forgiving yourself. In order to start the new year off right and becoming the new you, forgiving yourself is necessary.
Absolutely it is. If you can't forgive yourself, it's always going to be harder to forgive someone else. It's impossible, really, to fully forgive someone else and you can't forgive yourself.
Why is that, though?
I mean, one of the things about forgiving yourself is, as a human race, we are always harder on ourselves. You understand? We can have a level of forgiveness. I'm talking about fully forgiving someone. Mm-hmm. You can't possibly do that because forgiveness is a principle, really. It's a heart principle. I forgive you because you wrongfully done something to me.
Right.
I feel. So therefore, I'm going to release you from those things from me so that now I can love you properly, whether that's in distance or up close. And so really forgiveness for us is loving ourselves even more, right?
Right.
You loving yourself enough to say that where I was, what I did, what I said, I have to release those things. It comes with trust, love, and fully being able to release yourself in every aspect of whatever that situation was.
I totally agree. This is what I'm learning too. Forgiveness comes in stages.
Yeah.
The reason why I had to learn it because, growing up in the church, they was like, you just forgive.
And forget.
And forget.
And not possible.
And it's not.
It's
so
not
it have to go through stages.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like grieving to a large degree. You have different stages of grieving.
Yeah.
And, you go through those stages. And then when you finally get to the point, you just let it go. It doesn't change the loss that you experience. But what it does, it frees you from that pain.
Absolutely. That's the love that's going to come forth, though. The love comes forth after the freeing, right?
Right.
You think about when you are with someone. Say, for instance, you're developing a relationship with someone, and you get to the stage where you're getting to know that person, and the more you get to know them, you begin to love them.
True.
A little bit after that, you fall in love with them. Those are the stages. Even when it comes to the forgiveness, you get to the point you acknowledge what has happened.
Right.
After you acknowledge it, you work towards being able to say, you know what, I think I can accept the apology that is given. Once you accept the apology, there's a freedom that comes in your heart. Your heart becomes softer with that situation, right?
Correct.
And then once you forgive, that's the part of falling in love. Now I'm in love with you. I'm in love with you now, not a physical I'm in love with you. I'm talking about then your heart is made completely of flesh.
Right, it's soft
Does
now.
it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Your heart is completely made of flesh then, and not that you will ever totally forget, because you will not. And I don't think that we should forget.
I agree.
I don't think that we should ever forget, but it won't be such a sting.
Right.
That part of all of that will be relinquished.
I totally agree. I just got delivered from something just a couple of days ago.
But how long did it take you?
Oh, my Jesus. This started in August. So let me give the backdrop of what was going on. Mm-hmm. My mom almost died. Mm-hmm. So dealing with that situation, dealing with the disrespect of the relationship that I was, friendship that I was with this person. And I was taken aback with what was going on. Mm-hmm. And so it tore me to pieces. And I couldn't see and I couldn't understand, how this person interpreted my actions. Mm-hmm. Because my actions were good, the best that I could offer. And you know me, I'm a type of person. If I'm an open person. If you can come talk to me and tell me something, like, hey, I think you was wrong about this. Right. Whatever. I might argue with you. Listen, y'all, I might argue. I might. Just might.
No, I'm just playing.
But I'm open to hear what you have to say about whatever the situation is. Yeah. And there was some finances involved with this situation as well, mm-hmm. which took me back financially because my heart gave freely mm-hmm. to make sure that this individual was taken care of. And a friend of mine, I had a conversation, I was venting because I've been venting since August. Whoever would listen, and I'm telling y'all something, have you a friend who will listen to you mm-hmm. as well as give you great advice on how to handle your situation?
Absolutely.
And I was talking to a friend, and she listened to me. Now, let me backtrack. Now I got some hood friends because they was like, let me go in. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. This particular friend, this is what change came about for me that opened up. This is funny because she wasn't the first person that said this to me, mm-hmm. but I'm in a different place than I was to hear. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And so this is how funny it was, because when I seen the person, it stirred up some thoughts in my head. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Type of thoughts like, nah, Jesus.
You trying to be funny now.
Yeah. She said something so powerful to me. She talked about a divine interruption. And she said, there's a difference between you being, I can't think of the word she used, but the word she used was like your child coming in. I can't think of the word y'all excuse me, because sometimes I get lost with words. She talked like when your child come in and they have a conversation, you have a conversation with somebody and they interrupt you, right?
Yeah.
You can easily, get back to the conversation.
Right.
But there are situations that you experience that totally shake you, that you can't get back to the place where you were.
Yes.
And she pointed out something about my character. She said, you always been the one that went about saving others. Mm-hmm. She said, if that situation never happened, you would have found yourself right back in that same space again, over again. And it was something at that moment, Cheryl, it's like my mind began to play back. Like I began to remember when I helped this person, that person, and the situations I dealt with them. And it definitely was a repeat. Now, remember, there is a song to talk about same script, different cast. You remember that? Yeah, that song right there. Same script, different cast. And that opened me up to a level of freedom. Now, part of it, I was mad at myself because, now this Bishop talking about last week about forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
Part of that was I was angry with me because I had got sound advice on how to handle the situation before it got to that point. Mm-hmm. But me being the soft person that I am and the gentle person I am, the kind person that I am,
right.
I allow that to override. This is how things got positioned because not only, let me be honest about it, I was in a financial bind myself in the beginning of this situation.
Right.
So I feel like this not only be a blessing to me, but this be a blessing to this other person as well. Yeah. So I thought it was the perfect storm in a sense that could bring about a blessing.
Right.
That's how I interpret it.
Right.
But the advice would give to me, hey, do this, do that. You're grown at the end of the day. Uh-huh. However, I'm telling you, this is the best way how to handle the situation. Mm-hmm. Mine.
And your ears did not hear.
I did not hear. You know why?
Your heart is bigger than you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is the thing. I am a sucker for a certain demographic. Mm-hmm. I am a sucker for it. Yeah. And so when my friend was talking about that divine interruption or that divine chaos, my mind went back to my why. Because everything we do in life is connected to a reason. Yes. Whether we want to say it isn't or not, whether it's subconscious or not, or conscious, it's connected to something. My mind went back to my childhood.
Oh, wow.
Because I remember when my mom and my dad separated. And what I felt that the position we were in, and watching my mom be up all night, I wasn't used to that. Yeah. Waking up and she's still awake. I'm used to waking up, going to the bathroom, and her and daddy, they in the bed sleep. Right. But I remember the nakedness that I felt when mom and dad separated. Yeah. So I never want another child to have to go through that. Yeah. So I constantly put myself in a position like I want to help. I want to help because no one needs to experience what I experienced. Right. Oh. But I learned something out of that.
So understand.
I learned something out of that. Yeah. Sometimes, even though things look the way they are, sometimes it's because of
them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You made me think about, so for those of you that know me, you know that I took in 2 other kids besides my children. And I can't tell you that God told me to take in those other children. So that's another thing with people with big hearts. You have to make sure you are praying and asking God, is this what you are supposed to do? And making sure that our ears are open and that our heart don't overshadow what is being spoken. So whoever your friend was that came and spoke to you was actually God's voice giving you instructions.
Definitely. And so
your heart was so much bigger than listening to the instruction. That could have come with familiarity with the person that told you, or I know the situation that's happening with the individual, so this is what I must do. And that's not always the case. The children that I took in were situations that I have dealt with, didn't want to happen to them, so I gladly took them in. But those children took me through it. I'm talking about took me through so much for years.
Yeah.
And so the question would be, well, did I really hear God? Is this what God said? Or did I override what I was supposed to do? So now I have to go through the valley because I made a decision without inquiring with God.
I'm tell you something. I was in prayer since you said that. I was in prayer one day after the situation happened. Sometimes we get caught up in friendly fire.
Oh, yes, sir.
And I never forget, I was in prayer and it came out of my mouth. I said, Lord, forgive me for positioning myself in friendly fire. Mm-hmm. Some storms wasn't for me.
Yes.
Some situation I was never supposed to attach myself to. And I want to say this, like, I know some of y'all might be listening tonight and you trying to start, a new life or turn over a new leaf, as they say. Mm-hmm. And there's certain things that you have to be aware of that you won't repeat those same behaviors.
Absolutely, because you will.
Yeah.
And a lot of those repeated behaviors are also lessons.
Absolutely.
They're also lessons because we are designed to walk a certain way. There is a place in which God wants our feet to tread. And sometimes we are the one to take the different route that God doesn't want us to take. So we have to take the consequences of the route that we took.
We do.
And so those routes are not always favorable. 99.9% sure that when we take that off route, that there are consequences to that route. But on the opposite side of that, God is still going to make it for our good because we did it with good heart intention.
Since you said that, I remember a message that my pastor had preached, right? Mm-hmm. And this was years ago. I think I was in my 20s when I heard this message. And he used two brothers in the church. He had one brother our church is not that big, mm-hmm. but he had one brother literally to walk outside of the church and walk around the church to come back in. He was still preaching. Had another brother just basically walk up and down the aisle, come back, right? Mm-hmm. And he was saying that some situations God allow you to go through.
Yeah.
And he allows you to take that long route around in life. A, he's trying to work something out of you. B, he's trying to teach you something.
Yeah.
Now, even though you're going to come to the destination that he wants you to come, that promise that he's going to give you. Yeah. But there's reasons why that he allowed. And so when you said it made me think about that, Cheryl. If he don't allow us to go through those hard moments, we would never wake up because of our heart.
So good. It's a becoming.
It's a becoming.
Ooh, it is a becoming because it definitely it teaches you how to be. It for me, I would say my going through also brought character out of me.
You know what I used last week?
What?
Maturity.
That.
Because, and I was talking about a situation that had nothing to do with this. Mm-hmm. But because certain things happened, it matured me. I handle things differently now. I speak differently now when I'm addressing certain issues. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it brought about a maturity that I can handle because let's be true. Like I made a statement before, like if I found some things out when it happened, I'll probably be in jail right now. Let me phrase, I'll be in prison. But life lessons, going around those mountains, those bends, those valleys, those desert moments, the moments of without, dryness. Yeah. You only hit an oasis ever so often. Yes. It was necessary. Yeah. And then had to learn how to forgive yourself because you was given instructions on what to do, not to do. And it messes with your mind, because you're like, dang, I should have followed through. But
been there.
I promise you, like, your boy has certain levels. Your boy has really matured in a lot of areas. And I learned how to deal with people.
Yes. So one of the things about me has always been tone.
Yeah.
So, guys, like one of the things with me, if you didn't know me or have been around me for an extended period of time, you would think I was mean or hateful or, she don't like me and she never smiles. So being in different types of situations and circumstances and going through, you learn how to smile more, even if you don't feel like smiling, because you want to bring the softness. You make yourself friendly to have a friend, right?
Right.
So, just getting to the place of making sure that when I'm saying something or having a conversation with someone, that I'm not as direct as I am, because I'm a very direct person.
Very.
I am a very direct person, so I don't have
The scriptures be talking about verily,
I
to make
say
sure.
it.
Yeah.
Very,
Very,
I say unto you.
very direct.
Yes. So I am working on that to bring a softness, because you don't want to offend. So that's one of the things for me that, I have found through some of my trials is trying to learn how, when I'm dealing with people, how to come another way. Because
Wow.
it doesn't mean that I can't be direct, but I can be direct in love. And it doesn't mean I was never not doing it in love. It was just my tone. It was my makeup,
And I think also when to be that direct.
Absolutely.
That's a proper time for everything. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. At grandma's party last night, we were trying to take pictures and everything, and it was so funny because we know her. So that was grandma's grandchildren, right?
Yes.
And so she said something so direct that it cut myself. Ooh. So I was really I know she didn't mean it like that. And so the little girl just looked, and she was like, she about to cry.
I don't even know what I said.
You said, stop it and get in line. And I was like, because you trying to take pictures.
Oh, she had been getting in trouble all night.
And she,
Yes.
but she was a little cute little girl. Was.
She's very pretty, but she was getting in trouble. Her grandmama was already whooping her all night.
But when I tell you that the room got silent,
Yeah.
you command that level of attention. So it's proper placement. I'm not saying that was improper or
Yeah.
proper, but I'm just saying, it's that tone that you carry.
So when you say that, there's a place of like authority that I carry.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in the spirit as well as in the natural. But just because you are an authoritative person, there is the timing.
Right.
And so learning that, I was young, learning who I was, and here I am, 45 years old, still trying to learn who this woman is.
I got a question to ask you.
Yes.
Do you feel like in some instances that you just now growing up?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, y'all. Honestly, I am telling you, these last few years have been my growing pain years. I can tell you, I've really just become an adult.
Okay, I feel good now because
I'm just now becoming an adult.
I'm feeling the same way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm feeling that I'm just now maturing into a lot of areas that I should have been a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to just dealing with situations financially, how I dealt with business, people, ministry, all of that, just learning. I am just now coming to the space of how I can set those things in order.
You know what? You know what I'm coming to? See, you have problems like placing your directness. I had a problem not being completely direct.
Yeah.
Because I was always told that I can offend people, so I kind of, soften myself to a place because I didn't want to offend nobody. I didn't want to hurt nobody's feelings, whatever.
Yeah.
So now I'm at a point now I'm learning to be, is this way or is that way?
Yeah.
And I always study how to place things, but I still, the word for it is passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive, yes.
Yeah, so I'm learning how to be aggressive when need be. All because growing up, I was told that you too offensive. You say things this way. So it curved the way I spoke. So now I've grown to the point like if I don't like something, I just say I don't like it. And that's the one situation that happened to me and this other person because I didn't express boundaries and protected those boundaries.
Yeah, I was just fixing to say to you, we can fix ourselves in the areas in which we need to fix ourselves. But there are also some people that you would deal with in life that are already offended. So it doesn't matter how nice, how much love, or whatever you give, they're already offended.
They live in an area of offense.
They live in.
I
But that's
had to
because
grow
of
to
them.
that. I had to grow to understand
Yeah.
that because here again, once my church upbringing, being in church,
Yeah.
I'm a pew baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that upbringing posture me in that way.
Yeah.
You know, because let's be honest, viewers. You know, this is not a complete Christian platform, even though we have
Absolutely.
Christian foundation. We talk about everything, but what it was for me is if I didn't position myself as always been apologetic and soft, my salvation was questioned. Now they never came to me and say, darn, we think you ain't saved because of this or whatever it can be. But the way they taught things
Yeah.
across the pulpit, Bible class, Sunday school, just when the saints gathered and had conversation.
Yeah.
Because I tell people, learning where things start and where things end. Everything has a boundary. The beach has a boundary. The sky even has a boundary. We got the ozone layer and you got all that type of stuff. Those are certain levels. And you have to have a boundary for yourself in any situation. And we're talking about New Year, New Me. And I know a couple of months ago, last year or 2 years ago, when Jonisha and I was on here, we was talking about boundaries and things like that. And we talk about setting boundaries. But setting boundaries and enforcing those boundaries are two different things. You can set boundaries every day, all day long. But if you're not going to stick with those boundaries, there's no reason in setting those boundaries. And my issue was, and some of you issues may be the same, you don't have a problem setting boundaries, we have a problem sticking with those boundaries because you don't want to offend nobody or you feel sorry for a situation, and you allow things to happen. Well, if you constantly let things happen, what's going to happen is you're going to get disrespected. So in order to grow from that, you have to stick with those boundaries and realize that is the only way that you're going to have some sense of peace and sense of clarity when coming out of a relationship with people. That doesn't mean that everybody is going to love you after you set boundaries. No, there's some people going to walk away from, they're going to talk bad about you, but it doesn't matter because you held to your standards. And the society we live in, we have issues with people holding to their standards because we don't want to offend anybody. But just like Cheryl said just a few minutes ago, there are people who live in offense. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can change about that. They just gonna live there. They're just gonna live there. That's it. This has definitely been a great conversation on tonight. My co-host had to step away due to some family emergency, but I hope that you enjoyed tonight's conversation. Meet us here on next Sunday at 6 p.m., The Conversation Podcast. I love you, and you have a good night.